A lot of people saying it doesn't really make much difference at all. Is there a percentage of effectiveness that you could say that most masks could offer? And also, the wearer of the mask, do they receive protection from outside particles coming in?
Yeah, I said this at the beginning. So I think people have problems understanding this. If I say that if I'm infected, then if I wear a mask, it reduces the outgoing viral load by 50%. So that's a typical surgical mask or a cloth mask. And then if I'm not infected, but I'm wearing a mask, then it reduces the incoming load by 50%. So if I put the mask on, for example, and I'm infected, then the outgoing virus load is reduced by about 50% from the mask. Okay, now surgical masks are leaky, so that's not 100% containment. But also, viral loads coming towards me are reduced by 50% as well. Again, there's some leakage around the side, but that's why it's only 50%. But if you've got 50% times 50%, two people talking, wearing a mask, that reduction in viral load is overall about down to 25%. So you reduce it by 3/4. And that's how the masks work, especially in the universal masking environment, like you see in Southeast Asia. And it's interesting that the history of masking in Southeast Asia is much more prominent than it is in the UK. And I think the cultures are also different. So people tend to really follow what the guidelines say in East Asia, Southeast Asia, much more than, say, in the West, where they're much more rebellious. And there are some cultural differences between those two populations. And this has been reflected in something called the Hofstadter Insights, where if you compare the Eastern and Western countries and the populations and how they actually respond to kind of mandates or guidelines, you find that the compliance rates is very different. And here, I was discussing with one of your colleagues earlier, Alex, if you look at, say, Taiwan and look at the different coloured bars there are 6 different dimensions of this kind of cultural difference that you can measure in terms of so-called power distance, hierarchy, how much people stick to the hierarchy, and the individualism. You see it's very low, the individualism, but a much higher power distance in green on the first column. And the masculinity, again, is really a measure of how much you value your own achievements over other people's and society, the welfare of society. And then avoidance of uncertainty, which is very high in East Asian countries, but also very high in some European countries like Portugal. And that really means that they stick to what people know, what we know and trust. And of course, East Asians have been wearing masks for many years, since SARS 2003. So they trust the effect of the mask already, and they don't want to change that.